The Aftermath, every Sunday morning from 6 o'clock on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Plenty going on, Brad, in the world of racing, football, rugby league, the whole lot. What's grabbed your attention? Hey, 0427 789 571. Get on that Retrovision text line. Open it up. Come on, we want to talk a bit of footy.
I want to hear from the listeners. I want to know if there's anybody out there who's ever read the rule book, because I don't know the rules anymore. I've only been involved in this game for the best part of 55 years, and I've got no idea anymore. I'm constantly, and I know you've got some audio to play, thankfully, of a few of the coaches getting on the front foot now and just posing the questions, like, because we're all confused, you know. With there was 50-metre penalties at Thursday night. There was a shocking decision against the Collingwood Magpies on Friday night. Vossi and Hardwick don't know what's holding the ball, what's not. And you picked up something too, haven't you? Because we go to the football to shout and scream and get rid of all of our dirty laundry, so to speak, from Monday to Friday. We just want to get there and yell. What aren't they yelling these days?
Ball! You don't hear it anymore. You don't hear it anymore. And
you don't know.
Because no one knows. Okay, let's get into this. Here's Damien Hardwick first off.
What I will say, there's 131 effective tackles today, and there were 4 holding the balls for both sides. That one where Mac Andrews had Charlie Curnow at the start, that is a very, very dangerous situation for both players. 1 for Charlie and 2 for Mac. We've just got to get on top of this, because the players certainly owe each other a duty of care, but as umpires, we've got to blow the whistle earlier, because the reality is they're putting players in a really compromising position that they could get hurt, and we don't want that. So we've got to look at it, we've got to coach it. I know it's incredibly hard, but, you know, from a players' health and well-being point of view, we've just got to make sure, for the benefit of the game, that we look after the players.
Is that when they get swung 360?
Yeah, there's a lot of that going. Well, free kick will blow the whistle. It's hard. Look, the game there's a reason I set up in the coach's box. I don't want the umpire's job because he's that bloody tough. But we've got to figure out a way to make it easier. I don't know what that is, but, you know, today there was a couple of situations, you know, for both sides where we've just got to be mindful of those.
Is the alternative to that the player that has to sling him to the ground to stop it? Is that why it's dangerous?
Definitely dangerous. Like that one there, Max holding him up. You know, that was probably the extreme example, and it doesn't happen that often, but it was too long. So it had to be one way or the other.
I say that often. We'll follow some up. Yeah. I don't say that often. I've never sat in here, but we've got some things to follow up, because either clearly we're not getting it right, or we're just, we're educating it wrong. So we've got a couple of things to follow up. Just make sure we have clarity as well, that we're seeing it the same way. And I don't sit up here and ever do that, because I feel like most of it's all in our control, and I still firmly believe that. But we're also, it's our responsibility to get clarity when we're unsure, so we'll get the clarity.
What sort of things are you unsure on? Like, what sort of stood out?
No, I'll wait and hold, and we'll do the right channels as well, because this isn't about about sort of just focusing on that. It's about sort of taking our time, have a look through the vision. Let's be really clear, and we've always had really good discussions, so I can't see that changing. We'll just probably seek a little bit more feedback this week than what we normally have.
Okay, Damien Hardwick, Michael Voss, post press conference there. Now, Brad, I think between them, coach and players, maybe 8 premierships. I might be wrong.
Yeah, they have. Absolutely. So Hardwick played in 2. But Vossi played in 3. Hardwick's coached 3. So there's a few there. There's enough there. There's enough experience there. But I think they're very mindful of getting a fine and being critical or overcritical outwardly through the public. The AFL don't like that. But the AFL can't hide either, Marty. I mean, to put out just on the one on Friday night with Collingwood, because they didn't give the ball back to Curly Nichols straight away, and cost a goal and changed the momentum of the game. Mm-hmm. The AFL put out a statement via a spokesperson. Who's the spokesperson? And hide behind some media statement. Get up in front of the media throng and answer some questions that need to be answered for all the fans. Even Fremantle fans were bewildered. I had friends sitting at the ground and watching the game, and they're all looking around at each other, going, "Well, what the?
Yeah.
What is this? What is going on here? And you saw that Charlie Curnow one, but that's more prevalent than Damien Hardwick gave time for it, because blokes are getting them by the hand. Some people are hopping around on a leg going a full 360, and they're still allowed to try and kick it or get rid of it. It's crazy. It's just got to be sharper and smarter.
It's changing the fabric of the game. It's changing the fabric of the game. And people, I've been watching it for 57 years. You're the same, Brad. And when we are totally confused, I looked up flat out yesterday here, putting the races to wear, but I just happened to look up Port North Melbourne. Ball going into North Melbourne's half-forward line. I think it was second quarter. I should have names, but I it was very busy at the time. So the Port defender has the ball at half-back, gets tackle perfect. He's made an attempt. The ball comes free. It is ball every day of the week. Play on, Port clear, go down and kick a goal.
Yep.
The whole game.
No,
now,
I can't.
It just is changing how the game was once played, how it is played today, and it makes it unenjoyable. There were times during that game on Friday night, Brad, I could walk away from this. I know it wasn't an entertaining affair, but I looked through that. I enjoy low-scoring pressure games, but you just can't enjoy the game anymore because you don't know what's going on.
Correct. One of our listeners will be able to find this. I've been looking for it. I can't find it, Marty. But I know, I'm not speculating, I know for a fact that the umpires were coached this week at training about awarding 50-metre penalties. Now, whatever that was for, did not give them the ball back, time wasting, movement on the mark, whatever. It was there's been an extraordinary. I can't find the total, but I know there was 7 in the Bulldogs game the other night. So it's going to be upwards of 20 50-metre penalties so far this weekend. That's criminal. It's too big a penalty. It's not right, and because they want to get back. They want to get back control of the game. Well, there's better ways of doing it than that, than frustrating the players, the coaches, the fans, everybody, doing that. So if someone can find that stat, because it used to be in the papers on the following night, in the stats you say, 50-metre penalties, 2 Collingwood, 1 Fremantle, but because even Fremantle got hurt the other week, the other night too, with I think it was behind the play one involving Amos, which was 100 yards away from the footy, it's not affecting the game, and look, we want to have respect for the umpires. We do respect the umpires. We want to encourage more people to get involved. But you earn respect as much as you do a footballer or a broadcaster or whatever nature of business you're in. You earn respect. You don't demand it.
Okay, Stephen, off that text line, he's come in the other way. Good on you, Stephen, on 0427 789 571. Come on, Marty and Brad. The games this weekend have been sensational. 3rd draw of the season and plenty of close contest. Hey, I agree. Fantastic. But what we're talking about is what is going on within those games. Sydney, 102, Western Bulldogs, 88, Fremantle and Collingwood, their 3rd draw of the year, 75 apiece. Port, too good for North Melbourne, 107-48. Carlton, 102, Gold Coast, 73. Geelong, 74, get beaten by GWS, 78. And Essendon get over Richmond, 86-74. Good contest there, but the entertainment factor, if you take away the scores, the entertainment within the game is very frustrating.
And that, gentleman, thanks for chipping in.
Stephen.
But the bottom line is, Stephen, it's not all about that, Stephen. It's the non-paid decisions as well. They're 100%. As frustrating as anything, non-marks, what didn't he, you paid that one 2 seconds ago. Why isn't it paid this time? So, that's the frustrating thing, Stephen. That's what we're not having a crack at just holding the ball. There's a numerous elements of the game that are really starting to be frustrating for the punters.
This news that's come through overnight that Grayson Murray has died, the American professional golfer, aged 30.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Started as Golf World rocked.
Oh, God.
2-time PGA Tour winner dies aged 30. News just coming through.
Well, Marty, and I was just gobsmacked because obviously I'm a West Australian through and through, and I just saw that story from Floreat the other day too. I mean, dearie me. my heart just goes out to all concerned in that one. As you know, it's becoming a real blight on society, isn't it? And just innocent people, being cut down like that because of a jealous rage.
Yeah,
it's just not good enough, mate.
No, it isn't. It isn't. I was actually at Floreat Forum yesterday, and it's like a little village there, and I can tell you the feeling amongst the people around that area was one of shock, disbelief, and you could actually feel it. It was culpable.
Yeah.
Yep. James Sully Sullivan's a man who knows a lot about everything, but particularly NRL. He joins us right now. G'day, Sul.
Hello, Marty. Hello, Brad. Yeah, that breaking news just then. Grayson Murray. What happened, Brad? He withdrew halfway through the round. Something must have clicked. Yeah, and then he's gone, and then obviously... horrible news to wake up to, and it's just as they say, boys, just leave your phone on and ring a mate every so often. So horrible. Anyway, boys, I'll tell you what's not horrible. People doubting the Penrith Panthers.
What about this for a result?
Don't forget me. I tell you what, I watched the opening 5 minutes of this game, and I went. Well, just the way they ran on, they just had this steely look in their eye. James Fisher-Harris scored the first try, and they came from everywhere. I thought, oh, dear oh me, you're in trouble tonight, Sharks. And, mate, the big questions. It was the end of the day, there's been little New South Wales and Queensland selection battles on the whole weekend. And I tell you what, Jerome Luai, I think Jerome Luai might be slipping into his teammates Nathan Cleary's old Blues jumper, because I can see him wearing the 7. I thought Matty Burton was very good Thursday night for the Bulldogs. So I would not be surprised tonight when Michael Maguire announces his first. That's exactly it. New South Wales side, we'll see 6 and 7, Burton and Luai.
Okay, let's go through these three games from yesterday. First off, and it was the Raiders 16, the Roosters 44. The game you mentioned, Panthers 42, top of the table, Sharks 0. And then Rabbitohs 42 gave it to the Eels 26.
Yeah, back to that first one that was here, of course. And, the same sort of scenario. They led 18-6 at half-time, the Roosters, and really went on with it. And guess who? Yeah, James Tedesco, that's who. He was outstanding. Joey Manu, outstanding. So I think he's showing up that one. That was just too good. It was boys v men, to be honest. Watching the highlights last night. Of the Roosters, they were just very, very good. We mentioned that one, obviously the 42-0, and then it was the SAC Coaches Cup at Acorn, and they led 22-0 after the opening 20 minutes. The Rabbitohs, and they were pretty good last night. And unfortunately, Jack Whiten, sorry Thursday punters, but Jack Whiten had a HIA, so only played 2 minutes in the second half. But what we did see, Brad and Marty. We saw Latrell Mitchell go to 6 after he spent 10 minutes into the bin. Naughty boy, Latrell. He likes that little bin, doesn't he? He goes in there often. But
the naughty corner.
Safe place.
They were too good. Colin Matungi, he grabbed a double, of course. And, they were pretty good, South. Slowly but surely they're getting a bit of cattle back, and that's the key.
Sally, we know about the Rabbits, but what about the Eels? Brad Arthur got the lemon and sauce, as you said, and, they're looking around, and there's been quite a few names thrown up, but there's a little bit of an outside chance they're chasing Billy Slater?
Yeah, it won't happen. Brad, that was on the back page of the Telegraph the other day. We want Maguire or Slater. They won't get Slater, mate. You know as well as anybody. He's pretty comfortable in the life he's got. He coaches Origin. He jumps on Channel 9 every weekend. He goes home to the farm, and and he's got a young family, hasn't he? That's the key.
Yeah.
So I think
likes his horses.
He does love his horses, mate, and I really think that'll suit him, mate. What a good setup he's got. It's just coaches 3 games a year, wins a series. Oh, what a great start to coaching this is. Ben Hickam, he doesn't want it 18 hours a day, trust me. But the other bloke, Michael Maguire, does. So, be an interesting scenario. Madge, it's a good club, Parramatta. They've got a lot of money. They've got a wonderful stadium. They're setting up a new, the junior regime, excellent centre, as they call it now. So Parramatta will be a good gig. Jason Riles, the Melbourne Storm's assistant coach, knocked back the Dragons last year. So he knows now Bellamy's obviously going again next year, so that deems Jason Riles will be an assistant again. Does he want to do that? I'm not 100% sure. So they're the probably, mate, if I was setting a market, it's Maguire and Riles are their two favourites.
Yeah, okay. Let's hope they can get the Eels moving because the McDermott brothers here, they're walking around kicking rocks. They're down on their bumpers. They need the Eels up. Friday night, you're up and about. Jeremiah Nanai, you wanted him to get 2 tries. He got one in the 6th, one in the 72nd, and a little $5.50 straight out bet arrives.
Oh, wasn't that lovely? Yes, I must admit, quite enjoyed that one. He played well. They were good. I still think Todd Payton will be disappointed. I know the Cowboys, they had a win at home, which they hadn't done a lot this year, but they let through too many points still for me. Their defence at the moment, they've got to remember it's not just around the ground. They've got to stop sides. So that's the big thing for me at the moment with the Cowboys. But they got the 2 points, and then, as we know, the Sea Eagles got over the top of the Storm. Yeah, and I think both sides had players out. So, interesting enough, Craig Bellamy didn't blame that in their loss.
Yeah, well, it's he's been pretty good, Craig. He's normally he's doing a head gasket in the box, but he wasn't. He was quite measured the other night, I thought. So good for him, but still a little bit of work to do. What about we're going forward today, mate? We're looking forward to finding a winner, Sully.
I tell you what, Brad, did you nearly fall off your chair reading your paper this morning? Did you see the Broncos are playing on a Sunday?
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I thought that must be a misprint.
It's their only Sunday game of the year, the Broncos. And I'll tell you what, they're up against a Titan side who's been pretty brave, haven't they, the last few weeks? I know that they keep getting beat, but they're not getting... What's their last 4 losses have been by 4 points or less, and they've got some cattle out still, the Titans. I think the Broncos will be too strong today. I think they'll enjoy the sun on their back, so I think there'll be a good crowd, to be totally honest. And, they've won 7 of their past 8 at home, and they're 4 from 5 against the Titans. In saying that, Titans were very good against them the last time they did meet last year, which was, I'm pretty sure they knocked them off. So, yeah, big thing. The end of the day, the big thing for me at the moment, as I said, the Titans will be competitive. We need to see the Broncos really put the foot down on a team.
The Sporting Code administrators haven't been good to the Southeast Queensland public today because the Broncos and the Titans are playing and the Lions are playing as well. Couldn't they have thrown the Cowboys? Couldn't the Cowboys back up?
Cowboys play the Dolphins down the round. They should have done that.
Funny you should say that, but while it comes into my mind, and I know we're dropping back to AFL, but no football in New South Wales again yesterday, AFL. I think that's twice that's happened this year, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah. There's been some quite a few days, isn't there, Sully, where there's been sort of 29 days between games in New South Wales and not.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, boys, and I'm pleased you brought this point up. There's a little bit of respect there between the AFL and obviously the New South and the NRL in that scenario because they don't want to saturate the market, do they? The bottom line, as you said, you're playing at Shark Park. You're playing at Shark Park the early game. That's in obviously Sydney, and then you're at Acor. So what's the point of trying to, take it? And I think it comes down to transport too, boys. I'm pretty sure they'd be chatting to the New South Wales government about, obviously, because all your tickets are free, aren't you? As in, transport's free to the game. So, I think they probably do sit down. Yeah, I don't know what the AFL's doing to us on August 2nd, though, Marty and Brad in Perth. West Coast at home while we've got a game at Perth Oval.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good at it. Don't worry about that. Now, the other game is New Zealand Warriors, 2.17. The Dolphins, $1.68. It's 2.5 here. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's only the second time the Dolphins had to leave Queensland this year, and they're off to New Zealand. So they haven't been out of bounds. I'll tell you an interesting one for me. They've had 16 wins in their history, the Dolphins, and only 2 of them have been out of Queensland. They'll get a good opportunity today. Queensland still a little bit short of numbers, but the Warriors a little bit short of numbers. I'm going to go the Warriors in a tight one. I don't like the game from a betting point of view, so that's the big thing where I'm looking at that. But the way the Dolphins are going, I think I think Andrew Webster and his Warriors are just going to have to have that little bit of a, the defence saturation. That's what I'm trying to look for. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to really cut this Dolphins side in half defensively. Can they do it? We'll know by 4 o'clock this afternoon.
All right, we need some bets. Let's get some Sunday bets from Sull.
Right, I'm going Selwyn Cobbo into Chance Nickel Cookstad at 8.44 to score a try any time. I like the Broncos 13 plus, boys. There's been a few 13 plus results this round, and then I like either team to win by 10 or less. So basically, the line, Marty, is 13.5. So we'll go the Broncos at the line.
Yes.
Into either team to win by 10 or less. $3.40. It's a nice little play. And Marty, you know I'm going to do it. Brad, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Hey, come on.
Friday night we had a little bit of luck. Let's go Selwyn Cobbo, Marty, to score 2 tries at $6.50.
A brace for Cobbo at $6.50. There you go. He's your man. You love him. Cobbo for the Bronx.
Oh, buckle up, baby. That'll do me.
All right. We've got to get onto this text line. Thanks, James, and we'll listen to you on Thursday and do it again on Friday. Thanks, Sully.
Stay safe, boys.
He's a beauty, NRL expert, James Sully Sullivan. Let's get to the text line. Let's go with Snoz first. Good morning, Brad and Marty. Will the AFL reassess the 4-umpire situation because it's not working? The umpire making some calls are 50 and 60 metres away. The closest umpire is overruled. The game must go back to the old rules, e.g. holding the ball, reward the tackler, waiting for ruckman. Any player can ruck one from each side, and the stand rule must go. The team with ball gains up to 20 metres. I now listen to the broadcast, can't watch it on TV. It's so frustrating. Thanks, Snoz. Always a good texter.
Some terrific ones from Steve and Snoz already this morning. And as I say, for everybody's benefit, if it's Sophie sitting in the back row of Optus Stadium and she can see it's a free kick, pay it. That's how it is. That's how simple it is. People say it's a hard game to umpire. They're making it hard on themselves. That's what they're doing. Look, umpires have got good instincts as well, but, just the amount of time, the lapse of time, the non-payment of marks, some paid, some not. You saw one last night. The 2 umpires blew the whistle last night when Dusty Martin got a mark in the goal square. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was quick.
Yeah, very quick. And it was just a mark, wasn't it?
Just touched his fingers and they blew the whistle. You know what I mean? So I think in the end they probably would have got themselves got out of it on front on contact. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. If Sophie in the back row at Optus Stadium can see it's a free kick, pay it. It's a free kick.
Okay, what about Dean here? Morning, boys. As a Pies man, I was really impressed with the effort and clean skills of Harrison, Richards, Sullivan on Friday night. Great depth and system at the club. Looking forward to hearing Simon Hill. Well, he's not on the show today, unfortunately, Dean, because the mighty Red Devils, Man U 2, beat Man City 1 in the FA Cup final.
Oh, he's still drunk from winning the EPL league. So he's all right, but he can get out of that. He can get out of that. But
they were good, Collingwood. They've been very good, Collingwood, for the last bit.
That was nearly their under-19s team. It was nearly, and that's no disrespect to Fremantle, but it was. They had a lot of blokes that had played 3-5 games, and Ben Allen's boy, was good. He had a crack. He didn't set the world on fire, but there are others, as you said, Harrison and these blokes. They've only played 5 minutes, and Sullivan was found out of the Bulldogs VFL team last year, mid-season sort of a middle-aged recruit. It's great, and a lot to like about Collingwood's performance the other night.
Oh, massive effort. You lose Myercheck in the run. They lost Cox in the run. Had the game sewn up, but people will come back and say, well, they win all these close ones. They blew that one 25 up with 7 to go. Well, in a way they did, but they were happy to get the 2 points. I thought they were the winners. They were the losers out of the draw, and the Fremantle Dockers, that was grand larceny, really, to get 2 points for that.
Well, as I say, there are swings and roundabouts, and you can say, bad kicking is bad football. I agree, absolutely. Collingwood did have many chances to kick, and they kicked inaccurately. Sharp had a chance to win the game for Fremantle, but he missed. But that's off their boot. But the decision by Curly Nichols to take the ball away from Collingwood and give it to Sean Darcy and give them momentum, That changed the game.
Plenty of text to get through, Brad. Time for a break. We'll be coming back and talking racing with Chris Nelson next.
Sunday morning, Tab Radio Racing and Sport is turned on. And you are listening to the dulcet tones of Marty Young and Brad Hardie on the Aftermath.
Another man who's turned on is Chris Nelson. A very good morning, Nelson.
I am now that I'm chatting to you guys.
Of
good
course
morning,
you
boys.
are. Well, what about the Group 1?
Day,
the Group 1. Wastargent leading all the way, Blake Shin. Tell us about it.
Oh, no, well.
You're not happy?
I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you one thing about it. I could have 10 goes at the race and I wouldn't have picked Wastargent in a pink fit. But, look, all credit to Annabelle Neesham, Blake Shin. He rated the horse beautifully in front, went for home at the top of the straight and was able to hold off New Endeavour, who, wow, 2 weeks in a row, New Endeavour's been beaten in a close photo. So we've got a feel for the connections there, but I'm sure the horse will make up for it sometime soon. And I thought the run of the race was probably Annabelle's other one, Faulkner Park, who was flashing home late, guys.
Well, I'm going to make you feel sick now because I just came into my into my little paw on Saturday morning, and there's a thing that she circulates, Annabelle's 5.
Yeah,
and she gave all of her 4 a chance in the cup, but she settled on Boss d'Argent each way.
Ooh. Marty, I don't know about you, but I didn't get that email from me from Brad.
It's a little bit after the fact, this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was very happy.
Yeah.
I was very happy. I was very happy with that.
Bet you were.
Yeah, I could. A nice little share of the first 4. So I was very happy about that. But it was a terrific.
You're in this morning.
Well, Marty and I, we have a few more than just one on a Saturday.
We've got Rob Archibald on the program as well to talk about it, but it was a great second time she's won it. She won it with Zaki, and I think that's the third time Blake Shin has won it as well. So it's a race that he's pretty good at winning.
Yeah, she seems to dominate the races. The lead-up, of course, the Hollandale, she's won for the past 4 years, and now she's won this year, as you say, with Zaki a couple of years ago, and Zaki went down as favourite last year. But, she dominates these races up here. We need to keep that in mind for next year. But, look, all credit to Annabelle. Blake Shin rode a treat. Craig Williams is right. Nothing wrong with that on New Endeavour. Kovalika, guys, every possible chance for mine. We can't keep tipping him. And the one I liked at Value, Vow and Declare, never picked his speed up in the going. He just never travelled at all and was a shot duck before the turn.
I think he stuffed, he doesn't do it very often. I'm a huge Waller fan, but I think he stuffed this one up, Kovalika, trying to make him sprint in that other campaign. When he tried to turn him into, he just hasn't been the same horse since that campaign, has he? Since his 3-year-old days.
Yeah, he won the Derby. That was after finishing third in the Doomben Cup, and I think he's placed 2 of 10 since. He's often, got the flashing lights on him that in the next start jump on, but from that gate, with that run yesterday, at the top of the straight, he was there to strike, and he just didn't really run on at all. There are others finishing a lot better than him. Geez,
I'd love him to be able to find his form, but I'm a bit with you now. I think the time has come.
Look, maybe he has run into a lot of wet tracks this prep. He has run into bad barrier draws this prep. Maybe one day when he draws a really good gate on a really firm track, we might see the real Kovalika, but you might go broke waiting for that to happen, Marty. That's the problem.
Darby McCarthy, race number 3, Tiger Shark. Craig Williams really enjoys his time, doesn't he, when he goes up to Queensland? We had him on the program last week. He said he'll stay up there for 2 weeks. He's riding winners at Ipswich during the week and to the 4 again there yesterday.
He's great value, Craig, isn't he? When he comes to town, he's always in demand to chat to, and when he gets to the races, he's always happy to take photos, all that sort of stuff. He's great for the sport. On pace dominated here. Outweighed led Tiger Shark and Salui sat third. They finished 1, 2 and 3. Skirt the Law loomed up. He didn't quite finish it off. And the one that was the favourite, Fortuneer, I wouldn't be sacking. She ran 7th. She was doing her best work late, clearly. She was running on nicely at the right end of the race, and I don't really think the going suited her a lot either. So Tiger Shark been a bit of a giant killer this prep. A couple of wins at big odds, although there was money for him. He went 17s and 10s. But Fortuneer, I still think is worth following.
Race 4, Quinella of the day. I thought here, obviously, everybody, all the form analysts had clean energy, but it was a nice little push for Lady Shenandoah from the Waller and McDonald camp.
Yeah, she was good. They were both very, very good. I mean, they beat the rest by an absolute kilometre. Now, the pace was very strong in this race. So Zatanna, who led, had won an 800-metre race at Ipswich. So you knew that she was going to run along, but she didn't. She had Clean Energy right outside her. And really, Clean Energy was quite entitled to turn it up a little in the straight, but I love the way that she kept going. I mean, we know she's a full sister to Sunlight. She cost $2.6 million. She was good. Lady Shenandoah was also good running on and cutting that margin, but up on speed, showing plenty of guts and determination of the horses that we love to follow, and I think Clean Energy will go on and win far better races. Might not pay back the 2.6 on the track, but I think we'll go very close to winning. So hopefully Sires and JJ for Clean Energy. I certainly think it would be for Lady Shenandoah.
I think Yulong will get their money back with her, don't worry.
Yeah.
Before we go to race number 5, one here from Jeff, which is to you, Chris. Doomben, fence off, but out wide wasn't special either. Your thoughts, Chris?
It's crystal ball stuff. You just don't know where they're going to go. I mean, you look at we'll get to the next race, race 5. King of Rousseau made good ground along the inside. Anisa didn't go a yard on the inside.
Yep.
It's just, I think some horses handle it, some don't. Looking at the times, I think last week's track should have been in the heavy range. Well, they ran probably about 2 to 3 seconds slower than averages. Yesterday, they were about 1 to 2. So it was better yesterday, actually, than it was last week. But, yeah, it's a difficult question to ask. And I sometimes think we overplay all this, looking for biases and looking for right lanes. But I think it was just a matter of which ones handled it, guys.
What about the Arabian Summer, the winner of this 2-year-old classic? Notice the stallion?
Is it that one that I can't remember now? I've just got to open my form guide now.
Too Darn Hot.
The one that's it. You were talking about a couple of weeks ago, exactly.
Yeah, having an amazing run with the 2-year-olds.
Another 2-year-old winner for Too Darn Hot. An Arabian Summer, loomed up down the outside. Good running behind the speed, and they did run along. It was a good win. Now, it's King of Rousseau, terrific return, as I said, near the fence. And if the fence is supposed to be off, how come he was so good? So, I don't know. They were both good efforts. In behind, Anisa just copped a bump there at the top of the straight from King of Rousseau, and then never really recovered, was gone after that. Whether it was the ground, whether it was the bump, who knows? But we thought she was a lot better than that, and I'm sure she is.
Yeah, really good push from the camp for the second horse, and we thought it was home there at one stage. So one to follow, King of Rousseau, really up. Golden Boom, the Chief De Beers. That was a good race, this. No. A big goodbye. They took a set against it in the market, but it ran well, and wits end, it flashed home, and Situation Room always runs honestly.
Yeah, I think most of us have got pretty sick of Golden Boom. He's promised the world and never really delivered. He's always been thereabouts, but he's been a short-priced favourite in most of his starts and hasn't really got the job done. And here he was yesterday, out wide, drew barrier 20 before any scratching. So doing the form early in the week, you sort of thought, well, he's got no chance from out there. So he came into 13 after scratchings. They pushed on Craig Williams Road. He was wide early. He worked. He got up outside the leader, who was Hardbear Lane, and he just kept on giving down the straight. He was a good winner. I mean, he gave the big goodbye 6.5 kilos, or he gave him 6.5 kilos, so he was entitled to probably hold him off. But I'd like to see what he does next time, Golden Boom, before jumping back on board. As you mentioned, Brad, big goodbye. Great runs, come back in really good nick this prep. At Wits End is absolutely flying, and I can't give us much for the others. Go Wanji's... he's getting there, Marty, but he's just not quite the same horse at the moment, is he?
Yeah, I think he's had plenty of problems, hasn't he? And
yes, he has.
Not sure these tracks really suit him either. I think he's top of the ground for mine. What about the Roses? Yep. Scarlet Oak for Chris Waller and McDonald. Is she going to go on and win the Oaks?
Oh, I don't know. Look, that last 50 metres, she was stopping, or was she? Because I've looked at that a few times. J-Mac eased up on her. That's what he did. Yeah. He was quite soft on her the last 50 metres. So the others made a bit of ground, but if he had kept her going, and keep in mind, she's start number 4. She's going to 2,000 metres for the first time. She's doing it on a wet track. All her starts have been on wet tracks, and he's actually said he thinks she'll be a lot better on a firmer surface. She'll be able to let down and show her turn of foot, and that's frightening for the Oaks, where she is going. At this stage, she's definitely going to the Oaks. So to be start number 5 to win a Group 1, she really is something special. She's really good, this one. And they picked that up when she won her debut in New Zealand. Molly Bloom, she was wide all the way. I thought she was game. Others, Mayor of Mount Buller was good. Miss Jolene surprised me. I didn't think she'd run 2,000. And then Kind Words was another sneaky run too.
We spoke about the Doomben Cup. I just want to quickly look at the last one before we get some horses to follow from Randwick. But there was one with a red light on its head there yesterday, a thing called Zarastro.
You liked that run up on the speed, did you, Brad? Much better effort?
Yeah, much better effort. Much better effort. I got caught off the track last time, but, yeah, in the right race, this horse is, I think he's terrific.
Okay.
Yeah,
what did you think, Chris?
I like Freedom Rally. Rally
it was an excellent run beat, wasn't it?
He missed the start. Yeah, missed the start, and then he was, if that was the worst going, then he was in it.
Yep.
And he splashed home, and look on the line, it could have gone either way. He just shock was able to hold on, but he should have won Freedom Rally. Would have got a golden ticket into the Stradbroke if he had won, but that goes to Here to Shock now.
Yeah, I see there's only one horse has been able to win this race and win the Stradbroke. Gallant Lad, I think it was, 10 years ago or something.
Maybe a while back.
Yeah. But, Here to Shock. Well, good luck to Ben, Will and JD. JD on course there yesterday. Michael D had a good day in the saddle as well.
Yeah, the visiting jockeys did really well yesterday. Craig Williams, J-Mac, as he does every single week, and Michael D. Harry Coffey got a winner as well, so it was really good.
Yeah, one to follow Freedom Rally wherever it goes next start. We'll follow yours as well, Brad Zarastro. Any others to follow from Doomben?
Mentioned Fortuneer, Clean Energy, and Lady Shenandoah. That's it. And the other one was Freedom Rally.
Randwick?
Anything at Randwick?
Look, just an average meeting at Randwick, and that track was a bit, I think it was probably worse than it was given out. I think in out of race one, Swift Falcon is ready to win. Two good runs at two starts. And that one of Chris Waller's in race 5, Connor Senna. I was hoping she'd come up here, and she may do. She's very, very smart, and if she gets a wet track, she's even harder to beat.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both those tracks too. They were a bit lumpy, weren't they? Talking to a few punters, I was at the Floret TAB yesterday for a little bit, and a few of the punters were complaining that it's always a bit difficult when you're having tracks like Doomben and Randwick.
Well, Marty, they watered it during the week, and I don't know why they do that. I mean, it was a beautifully fine week in Brisbane. The only time we had any rain was yesterday morning for about 4 mils. So when we do it here, we do it in the eastern states. I do not know why we have to start tracks off on soft 5s.
Well, that's what they want to do, Chris. That's the strategy and the policy. So we just have to live with it. We'll listen to you on Wednesday morning and again on Saturday morning with Nathan.
You want a quick multi for today?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Oh, please.
All right, Sunny Coast. We have a 12-metre rail, so it could be a leader's paradise.
Yep.
This is a multi. Race 1, number 10, The Place.
Yes.
Race 5, number 2, The Win. Race 6, number 5, The Place. And race 7, number 9, The Place. It's about, I just checked on Tab Touch about 10 minutes ago, was $12.80 for $1.
Alrighty. Just make sure I've got these right. Race 1, number 10, Place. Race 5, number 2, Win. Race 6, number 5, Place. And race 7, number 9, Place.
Spot on.
Beautifully done. Thanks, Chris.
Well, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, Tigers were good there last night too. They were fantastic. Racetrack Ralphy joins us now to talk racing, and he's got his mighty Melbourne Demons going around today. Good morning, Ralphie.
Good morning, boys. Not a bad day at Sandown for this time of year yesterday. Track played as expected, which is all you can ever ask for as a punter.
Sandown, one of your go-to tracks, Ralphie, or not?
Not as a rule, mainly because there's so much midweek racing there, but as we saw last year when Caulfield was out of play, there's certainly nothing wrong with it. I mean, that little summer period they had where they had the Blue Diamond and the Orr Stakes and the Oakley Plate, it was good horses ran to form, but they just don't get their chances very often with good horses. But yeah, they got their Saturday meeting yesterday, and as I said, it played as expected, which is with the rail true. You just wanted to be off the fence in that crown of the track, and some jockeys got it right and some got it wrong.
Morning, Ralphie. Jason Warrencamp's going really well, and a couple of nice horses. And this one won the first, named in honour of Marty.
Yeah, exactly. Hideous. Yeah, this was, I think, the gear change and back in trip was the key. Heinous, it sort of floated a bit when it hit the front of Pakenham, and back in trip, fully fit, it smashed them. Not sure how overly strong the race would be, but it doesn't matter if you found it, and some did, but it was significantly slower than race 4 later in the day.
Lady in Pink in the second.
Well, this was Camp on Fire, as a mate of mine says. Corson's team are just flying, and this horse was in the right spot, came from that Miss Aria form line that we'll get to.
Yep.
And the horses up the front, they had no chance. Eugenius badly over-raced for the apprentice, and back in the field, some people call me in Hydrogen Power were too far back. I think Hydrogen Power is the horse to follow out of this. These 3-year-olds at the moment are pretty basic at this time of year, and I'd look forward to seeing this guy up to 2,000. I think he's crying out for it. So 2,000 metre range, Hydrogen Power, I think they'll pick off a couple of city races with him going forward.
Now, race 3 was won by Miss Aria, and then jockeys can get emotional when they have a win, but Tatum Bull, she's a real rap for this one.
Oh, absolutely. And, we put a big stamp on her at Caulfield. I said we haven't got to the bottom of her because that South Australian run with Floozy, who pulled up with an issue yesterday, was real. Caulfield, they went slow, smashed him down the middle of the track yesterday, same again. So, I heard that interview. I gave Tatum full credit for taking off in the mid-race rather than waiting, and she said that I think the horse just took her there. So either or, it doesn't matter. She got the money. I think a lot of senior jockeys would have waited and said she was able to blend in, and as I said, that's the way the track was racing anyway. So this was a good fun watch, and she was a terrific price. With
all the big guns away, Zach Spone's been having a good go of it and teamed up with Dan O'Sullivan to win the 5th with Way Up High.
Yeah, this was very basic benchmark 70 form, but in these, I think it's an old truism, isn't it, that senior riders in distance races, and it just got the right run. Commando Drift and the Genius were too far back. The Genius, I think, will win a basic staying race, but wouldn't be in a hurry to be on any of these as a rule going forward. That was just basic benchmark 70.
My friend Marty, would you please, Ralphie, because he jumped over race 4, because Matty Smith's a good man with a horse, and Wonder Reach was expecting the market too.
Yeah, it was, and it just put itself on speed, and that was, this is a prime example of a thinking jockey, because Drew Barrier 2 got in front, Jordan Childs, and then got to the crown of the track first. So fast horse in the middle of the track, in the right spot, distance specialist, pretty hard to stand any of these. I think Miss Cressy just 1100's her bottom limit, but she's racing too well to miss the place. Booney, they'll find a race with him if he jumps. But he's not jumping, and a shout out to all the soldiers who decided to take single figure odds. William Thomas, who's looking for his first win since I think 2014.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Dan O'Sullivan completed the race-to-race double with Matriarch Rose. Nice win.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it was funny how people look at it, but sometimes you just need to look at the whole meeting in hindsight. And Matriarch Rose, Matty Hill, who's obviously zero criticism of him, but 3 wide the trip. But that was actually the best spot yesterday. So Jayla Kennedy is she on fire. This girl, she might be a star. Doing everything right, got the money. I think it's basic sort of form, and a lot of these are pretty well exposed. So the one that intrigues me, Marty, Queen Air, maybe they got it right again, because that Moonee Valley win was real. But she's just been lost for about a year and a half, hasn't she?
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction, but she's coming from a long way back, isn't she, from where she was?
Exactly.
Yes.
Don't know what happened. You can't fluke a performance like that, so hopefully they can get her right again, because she's the best talent in that field.
Yeah, run 3rd in a Group 1 Oaks. Haven't really seen since. What about race 7, Pudding? Named after me good old mate over there in Melbourne, Brad Hardie. Puddinghead.
That was on the second one.
What's a good betting company? Anyway, the mattress or pillow company should have been sponsoring this, because were there some asleep jockeys at the start of the race?
Yes.
Pudding was well back, like it was going to get a very soft lead, and it got a very soft lead. So highlights, ridiculous tactics, and I know Craig Newitt afterwards was questioned, and he said that was the stable instructions to get cover. Well, good on them. They got cover, and they didn't win the race, because they would have if he went forward. Hopeless tactics. Yep. Bear Story gave up the lead. Yep, all important cover. And ditto Bel Toro, just too far back. So I think Bel Toro and highlights will be hard to beat next start. Pudding got its win, and I was out of the quaddy. I was dirty, but I don't talk through my pocket. I talk through logic, and that was just lack of logic from too many riders in that race.
Yeah, there's many of us on it. Now, you get to a stage where Paddy Payne, you've been telling us for ages now how good his stable's going. and hard to cross. He's a course and distance. He loves this track, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's airborne, he's fit, and Jayla Kennedy's in form, so he got all the ducks in a row, put him in the right spot, and he was well backed, and deservedly so, got the money. Couple back in the field were just too far back, but Where there could be some improvements, boys, is this track played so beautifully, and we're just having a good run with weather at the moment. So a few of these in this race are real wet trackers, and they just didn't get their circumstance, and that's probably the case throughout the day with a few others, like Trossetti, who ran very well, went second. Jabberwockies was too far back. Hennessy Ladd's the sort of the weird one here. Missed the start. He might be 20-1 next start. Just keep him on side. He's had 4 runs where nothing's gone right after a big first up run at Moonee Valley. So he can't sort of stamp any of these going forward. But Trossetti should run well. And if the Hennessy Lads get to a silly price, keep it on side.
Hayes Brothers daily double in the last 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're just flying. They got first and second in the race 9 there. They got first and third in race 10, and splitting them was Here to Shock, one of the Black Hookers who got the money in Doomben. So they had a big hour there. So Lee Ferrari puts itself on the speed. No improvement to come. It's been racing all through the summer, but that doesn't matter. It just gives itself every chance, and Ben Allen gave it every chance yesterday. I think Scarlet Scope just 1200's its best go, or on wet track, so when it can get a soft lead. So it gave a good kick for Paddy Maloney, just sort of caved in late, and a lot of these are pretty well exposed. But Bigolino, for instance, what the point I just made there with about a horse that will improve on wet track, it's definitely one of those.
Yeah, Nicolini Vito in the last. And we've got to make a special mention to the second horse, Windstorm, because Marty's very familiar with it. We're obviously having a lot of Perth form, and then it went at skew if a little bit. That was a good job to get second.
It was, and Gavin Bedgood is a ripper with recruits, but I just want to underline this. A big shout-out to everyone who risked Nicolini Vito, because apparently So Risque was going to run faster with 6 kilos less, and Nicolini Vito hadn't won for 17 months. That was great. I don't think Nicolini Vito knew that. It was just absolute gold. Yes. $6.50. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Now, what about horses to follow before we get a quick tip on the D's today?
Stick with Nicolini Vito, stick with Miss Aria. I think with a better tactics, the Genius will win a basic race. Hydrogen Power over 2,000, and that first leg of the quaddie, Bel Toro and Highlights, can win with a logical tactics. Melbourne today, can't wait. We do just need to win. I'm worried about St Kilda's lack of injuries, but I think the boys can put on a show at the MCG in a beautiful Melbourne autumn day.
Just make sure you got a tow truck, because once Ross Lyon parks the bus down the back half, you might have to tow him away.
Well, Brad, I'd yell at him, but I'm behind glass, so he won't hear me. Go D's.
You are the best.
Go D's. Go D's.
Go on, you boys.
Go the Redlegs. See you later, mate. There he is, Racetrack Ralphy. Time for the news as we count down to 7 o'clock. It's 13.1 degrees here in Perth. You're on the Aftermath.
The Aftermath, every Sunday morning from 6 o'clock on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Heading up to the Goldfields, KBRC. They race every Sunday at the moment. They've been getting great crowds, beautiful weather up there. Gary Bowen is a veteran of racing on the Goldfields. He joins us. A very good morning, Gary.
Morning, Marty. How are you? Morning, Brad.
Oh, we're well.
Hey, Gary.
We're doing our best. Is it good enough? How about yourself?
Yeah, never been better.
Never better. That was Mitch out the two-up, wasn't it? Never better. Gary, how is it up there? Just paint the picture for racing on the Goldfield so far this season.
It's really good, Marty. The crowds have been great. The weather's been unbelievable. Another beautiful day today. We lack a few numbers, but Peter Fernie's holding us up. That's the main thing. But I think we've raced 3 weeks in a row, so the numbers are down today. But we've got a fortnight break, and then I believe you'll see, full fields from then on. But racing's going very good. Yeah.
Hey, Gary, you got a couple in today, and the one that we probably think's the best chance looks like it's in the last, the top weight, Kakadu. He's been a ripper. He's 8-year-old, but he's won a bit of money for you.
Yeah, he's the best horse I got, Brad. He's an absolute legend. He's just beautiful. He's just an animal that you just love to have. I'd like to take him to bed with me. He's beautiful. He's
hey, slow up a bit, Gary. Things have changed a bit up there. There's horse there.
Things are different, are you?
Well, thinking about going back for a meeting. I might stay in Perth, I think.
But I think he's the best horse in the race, but I can't draw a barrier. With both of mine today have drawn the outside barrier, and with a bit of luck, Kershaw hasn't ridden him before, but with a bit of luck, and if he gets a crack at him, one thing he'll give you is he tries his heart out. He just gives you 100%. So I'm pretty sure he'll definitely fill a place.
And Justinian in the first?
He's a horse that's coming back from a tendon injury.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he'll need the run today, but I'd keep an eye on him in the future because he's 580 kilos and he's a big boy, and we've had him in work for a long time to try and get this tendon right, and I really think he'll probably need the run today. But he certainly's got the ability, so down the track he could probably win a maiden for sure.
Yep. Geez, I tell you what, you're in love with Kakadu. My mind only boggles what you could do with Baby Paris.
Baby Paris is a different story, but that's like winning that. That's like winning that lotto the other night. It's been a life-changing thing for me, I tell you. Unbelievable.
It has, and it's been, well, we've had a lot of fun here with the boys. They rib me all the time about Baby Paris, but how good has she been? Like 746,000, but all the fun and joy that she's been able to give you, Gary.
Yeah, it's a life-changing thing. It's taken me 73 years to get there, Marty, but I finally got there. But, yeah, I think it helps too with Mum's colours on, mate. You know, like they make the difference.
Yeah, they've been good colours for both families for many, many years. What about the run in the Belmont Sprint? What was the fallout from that?
We worked it out that she probably needs to be in the first 3 or 4. She's won 8 races, all metropolitan races, and they've all been when she's in either leading or in the first 2 or 3. He has come from like midfield quite a few times, but we worked out in that field probably the best to be in front, and yeah, they were just too slick for her. But you know, and I really think that was like a railway stakes field. It was unbelievable, and the strength of it. But she pulled up good and has now gone for a break and is going to come back in the spring. So, yeah, everything's good, really.
Well, when you have a look, Gary, she's a 4-year-old, but she's only had those 18 runs, and you and obviously Cole Jr., you've really been able to look after her well throughout her career.
Yeah, I've got to thank the Websters, mate. You can't train 2-year-olds up here, so I sent them I've been mates with Colin for a long, long time, and I didn't hesitate to send her there, and they've been unbelievable. They looked after her from day one, and, like, you know, she's had 17 starts for 8 wins, all at metropolitan level, and never been to the vet. I've never got a vet bill off her, so, you know, she's been an unbelievable horse. She's... But she should, as you say, she's been lightly raced and should come back in the spring very competitive.
Well, you've just brought a smile to my face. Your late dad, Tommy Bowen. He was one of the best at getting these horses going, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, Dad was a self-taught vet. In the 50s, they didn't have a vet in Kalgoorlie, and because the vets in those days had to go to Brisbane to learn to become vet at Brisbane University, and it was a 7-year course, and when you came back, no one ever came to the country after they'd graduated.
Okay.
So the veterinary board appointed Dad because he just knew, he worked in the chemist shop, and he knew a bit about animals. Anyway, for the next, I think it was 33 years, he was the vet in Kalgoorlie. And what he was really good at, Marty, was I think he could talk horse. You know, he was a genius with a horse, and that's where I got the bug. And I've been training since 1976, and still going.
Yeah, I can remember the Egan Street and across the road from George and all that back in those days. Napbury Lodge.
Yeah, no, they were great days, mate.
Yeah, certainly.
I started helping George Grilicic in 1973, and then I got my licence in 1976. He was my neighbour, George, and now he's still my neighbour, the worst neighbour in hell, next door in Simpson Court.
Yeah, all those parties every Saturday night. Tell him to turn the music down. George and Pat, wonderful family, and so are you, Gary, and great to see you having such a good run with all your horses, and good luck today.
Thanks a lot, Marty. Thanks, Brad.
All the best, Gary. Well done. What a character he is. He's a ripper.
Yeah, and what about
those Nana Muscuri parties? They can really do it to you.
Demise Roussos. Oh, the toga parties. It's all going off there. Don't worry about that. I'm a bit worried about the horse in bed stuff. That's got me real worried. Hey, talking about Calgary though, Ian Dunstan, who's the new CEO up there, Scooter, he's doing a terrific job. Actually calls the footy as well. He's an all-rounder.
Does he?
Yeah. Yeah, you can tune in on SEN and listen to their broadcast of the Goldfields Footy League.
But, what?
Yeah. You
they broadcast the Goldfields Footy?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that is. Tune in. Saturday afternoons if you've got nothing better to do. Now.
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
Tex coming thick and fast. What a return by Ridley for the Bombers. Here's our most important player, I reckon, Marty. That is from Smokey of Boulder. You know, watching him last night...
ball on a string last night.
Well, you're thinking, how the hell do we get along without him? He was fantastic, wasn't he? Won the medal, or the boomerang, whatever he won. Trophy.
He won it. And look, Stringer was awesome. He was awesome. Dusty wound back the clock a bit. We got a little bit of flashes from Shai Bolton and everything that game. Like the bloke who was very underrated was Toby Nankervis.
He was best on ground, I thought, apart from Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley.
What is it, Brad?
Deserved it.
So, okay. Essendon have been killing teams in clearances, right?
Yep.
And the reason they got killed last night, I think it was minus 11 or Richmond were plus 11, was Nankervis. He was the most dominant big man on the ground. Why are ruckmen so unnoticed by the media? I was pulling my hair out listening to him last night.
Yeah, I agree. They're just not on Broadway, mate. Simple as that. And they're all looking for the rock star midfielder, the numbers, mate. And the game is being swamped by numbers, and the numbers can do. If it's fantasy football, absolutely, good on you, enjoy it. But numbers lie, mate. Numbers lie.
All right. Now, there was another thought that just come into my mind, and it's just like, the fact that...
Trust your eye, that's what I'm saying.
Trust your eye, 100%.
You know who's playing well and who's not.
Goldstein, 16 hit-outs. You know how good he's been going this year. He had 16 hit-outs, right? 38 to the big... No, 44 Nankervis in the end. 44 to 16, gave them first look. The Essendon midfield got carved up last night. Their defence was fantastic. Their forwards were okay. You know, as you said, Stringer was great. We saw a bit of a return to form from a couple of the others up in their forward line, but Langford, the player I'm trying to name, he kicked three. The week before he was putrid. So he was able to find a little bit of form. But in the midfield, the guys that have been carrying this side never got near it. And that's where Richmond dominated. And it was all because of their ruckman, Nankervis, who hardly got a mention. Did he get in their best? I wonder if he match report.
He did, but just not on the ground of the voting. As I say, they look for the rock star ones and all the numbers. And as I say, you just sort of know, because as I say, the numbers can be a good backup for any argument, or it can be a deterrent in any argument. You know what I mean? And look, the thing that's annoying me, and as I said it about Friday night. I mean, Luke Ryan, they're all fating Luke Ryan. Well, he had 31 disposals. He kicked in from fullback 15 times.
Yeah. Okay, here's Rick. I think the wheels are falling off Geelong, and Wise Western Bulldogs got 5 home games straight. That's from Rick.
Well, they're not, Rick, actually, because every club's got to play, including Collingwood, have got to play some home games at Marvel. So it just so happens that it's a Collingwood home game next week playing the Bulldogs. So, yeah, from that point of view. So, it's a stretch for them. I think they've got Sydney, Collingwood, Brisbane, Fremantle, all at Marvel. So that's a good setup for the Dogs, and they're just got to get their manpower back on, because it was very good news about Norton. We thought he was in all sorts of trouble the other night, but he's going to be okay. And Ed Richards obviously will be out with protocol. So and Collingwood probably expecting that they're going to lose Myercheck for sure. I don't think
they'll lose
will
Cox.
come up. Yeah, Cox will be out.
Yep.
It's becoming a bit of a war of attrition.
Is it ever? We'll be back with Rob Archibald after these messages.
The Aftermath, every Sunday morning from 6 o'clock on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
And a half to New Merriam. Kovalika's going forward out 4 and 5 wide. Wetor rides the rails on the inside and also making ground. Faulkner Park inside the 350. Bois d'Argent's in front. Second, New Endeavour. Third, the inside there is Wetor. Detonated Jack runs home down the outside, and further out there is Kovalika. Bois d'Argent's in front. The outside is New Endeavour. Up into third is Wetor. Bois d'Argent and New Endeavour. Bois d'Argent, New Endeavour. Bois d'Argent in front. Maybe Bois d'Argent and nose, but G. New Endeavour put a dive in on the outside.
It was a fighting win to the grave. Bois d'Argent in the Doomben Cup. Rob Archibald joins us. A very good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You must have been wrapped with the win of the big grey there in the Doomben Cup. Group 1 glory again.
We were very excited, over the moon, really. He's been such a good horse for us, and it had been a little while since he got his head in front, but we were just pleased to get that result. They're very, very hard to come by, so when they do, we really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Well done, Rob. And, and the Faulkner Park was closing quickly too, but the grey was there to be got, wasn't he? It was just going to be a case of, when were they going to go past him? It's just grit and determination. It was brilliant.
It was, yeah. And I thought, full credit to Blake, because he sort of took control of the race early. He obviously jumped well, got him into a lovely rhythm. He was just pricking his ears, rolling along in front, and just rated him perfectly and gave him every chance. And to be fair to the horse, he was very tough late. So it was a really gutsy win. He's a beautiful horse. He's got such a great nature, and really pleased, for everyone involved. And to be fair to Annabelle, she had plenty of confidence in the horse going in, and she was confident he'd run a big race. So. It's just a great reward for everybody, really.
Well, why wouldn't she be? Because you go back, and I know we were just chatting off air there, his run in the Caulfield Cup was massive. They went really quick in that 2:26.45 and up on the speed, just getting beat into fourth spot. And then just tell us about this campaign going forward. He resumed, you spelled the horse, or Annabelle spelled the horse after the Caulfield Cup. You resume and run second at Randwick. Running the Tancred sort of didn't work out, but there were definitely excuses. JRA played a fourth behind Wetor. Then you go to the Sunshine Coast third before winning the Doomben Cup. Was it always the plan to end up in this race off those runs?
No, not necessarily. We nearly waited a week with him because we thought we were so keen to get him winning. And obviously we sent him up to the Sunshine Coast thinking he'd just go there and win, but he had a big weight and the track ended up being very heavy. So he just got bogged down a little bit in the ground. But if you in the run in the Tancred, he actually ran exceptionally well. I think Chad rode him that day and just felt like he had to get going on him early, and he probably just ended up going too early. If he just waited a bit longer, he may have been in the race a bit longer. So. Look, he's had a couple of little excuses this prep. He'd just been working so well at home, and he and New Marion often work together, and there's very little between them. So we thought from the good draw, he was going to get a nice run, and we just rolled the dice. Yep. And to be fair to the owners, they said, "Yeah, let's go. He's going well. Let's give him his chance." So, it doesn't always work out like that, but gladly it did.
Just to recap, and the end, because he had four in the race, and New Marion and Naval College, they both acquitted themselves pretty well.
I thought Naval College was excellent. Obviously, big improvement from his first up run. He'll only continue to get better as he gets out over more ground. New Marion, possibly after having such a big first up run, Jamie just thought it was just a flat second up run, and he did. There was a little bit of argy-bargy there in the first part of the race, and maybe that just got him over racing a touch, and obviously Faulkner Park, in his usual way, settles out the back, off the speed and rattles home. So I thought he was probably the horse for us to take out of the race. That was his biggest test, up against that sort of company.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to run so well and obviously look like he'll appreciate it a little bit further as well, I thought he was a real shining light. So, happy with all of them. Obviously a little bit disappointed in Numerian, but I think he had a genuine excuse being so good first up, probably just a bit flat.
Do they all go forward to the Q22?
I would expect so, yeah. I think so. I haven't had a good chat to Annabelle today. She's obviously up in Queensland. I'm in Sydney, but I would think that's the plan. Yeah, particularly Faulkner Park. I don't see why all of them wouldn't go.
Rob, let's scoot down to Randwick in race one. I think the stable had a bit of opinion of this first winner, and it went around at nice odds. So didn't it pick him up and just put him down, and in that last furlong and a half? Yeah, God, she was excellent. We were a little in two minds as well with the draw. We thought, oh, God, she's going to have to get too far back. But, her first up run was very good at Newcastle on soft ground. She flew late and actually ran out of room and sort of was coasting to the line. And we thought she'd improve a lot into this run. And, it worked out nicely. There was a good enough speed up front for us to run into it late. And, she was excellent over the final stages. So, she's a really nice, talented filly. I think she'll be even better in the spring. Really pleased she could put that together yesterday for the owners. They've been good supporters of ours, Triple Crown. So, it was nice to see.
Okay, just back to Bois de Jonde. Do you think that he can win at 2,400 metres?
Oh, look, I think so. Obviously, the Caulfield Cup, he had a really nice light weight, which obviously he favoured him a little bit. I think he can, yeah. I think just probably him running so well there yesterday, leading and bowling along in front, maybe that might be a bit more suitable. So there's a bit to think about. We'll get a few opinions from a few of our form guys and... it's a hard one. I think he can, but he probably needs everything to go his way. I think anywhere between the 2,000 and 2,400, he's going to be competitive.
And coming back from that 2,400 metres at the Sunshine Coast to the 2,000, just had him really fit and hard to get past in that Doomben Cup. Was that the plan to do that? As you said, you weren't sure, but gee, it worked out perfectly if it wasn't by plan.
Yeah, it wasn't set in stone. Look, there was lots of different scenarios, but obviously as it transpired, it worked out very well. Just that really tough run over 2,400 back to the 2,000, and it allowed, exactly as you said, it had him very fit for that, big run over 2,000, leading from the front, and was always going to be hard to get past. So. He over the 2,400, he can tend to find a bit of a flat spot, and then he comes again late. Whereas yesterday he was just solid the whole way through. So, he's just such a tough horse, and hopefully there's a few more wins in store for him.
Rob, whenever we have people like your good self on from bigger stables, our listeners go into overdrive on the Retrovision text line, and you mentioned Amelius and what a great win it was in the first yesterday. If you had to pick out maybe what a future grand final for it as a 3-year-old would be, what might it be?
Oh, look, if we're aiming at the stars, maybe come back for the Princess Series, and even a race like the Flight Stakes might be in her sort of her zone if she comes back as well as we think she can. So obviously there's a couple of really good fillies going around at the moment. Gain Adrian's filly obviously won impressively yesterday. So I think she will get out over further. I think that Princess Series in the spring will suit, where they go 12-14 to a mile, and then there's a couple of nice options later on in the spring. So I think if we are aiming for the stars, that sort of race would suit.
Okay, that's for Amelius, the 2-year-old filly by Hal Bent. Okay, what about a winner during the week from the stable? We got anything our listeners can keep an eye on?
Yeah, we've got a nice 2-year-old kicks off at Kembla on Tuesday called Stallone. He's in the 2-year-old maiden over 1,400. He's been going really well, and he should be a nice bet there.
All right, Rob. Go on.
You better get Adrian late to ride it. You better get Adrian Leighton to ride it.
Adrian. I got you, Brad. All the best. Hey, Rob, thanks for coming on the show this morning. All the best. Well done. Another Group 1 for you and Adam L. That's magnificent.
Thanks very much, guys.
Rob Archibald joins us morning,
Very good,
gents.
Stable.
Listening to Marty in fine form this morning reminded me of the late, great SBS soccer guru, Les Murray, with his perfect pronunciation of Wada and Huetor. Great work for a bloke who's just as adept when talking Aussie slang with the trainers from the bush, Matty C. Thanks for that, Matty. Nice. Great game Friday night. In summary, Darcy needed the run and will improve heaps. Draper needs another 20 games under his belt, or we need Cox back. Sonny should be replaced by Frederick, and then we will be very hard to beat. That is cheers from Bert of Waikiki.
Yeah, but look, there's a bit of merit in that. I mean, as I say, there's still a couple of. There's no doubt, Marty, that Sydney are the team to beat right now.
Yes,
and they've got a perfect balance of defence and attack. And the midfield kick goals, we know that. So that's what the other teams have got to try and plot against and try to aspire to be themselves. And right at the moment, Fremantle need to make a few changes, I reckon. I feel, Sonny Walters, I agree with Lisa's. I think he seems to be playing for more and more free kicks. I'm worried about Fife.
Yep.
Blokes in that age group, they want to play every 10 days. Well, we know that doesn't work like that. Like some days it's for 5 and 6 day turnaround. So you just can't afford. Maybe they play a few less games on the road and give experience to some others to try and go to Darwin or Alice Springs, wherever they're going next week, and in Melbourne and stuff like that. They've got to come up with something a little bit different.
By foot and hand now.
It's really, really hard to watch. What a great champion he's been, but he's a far cry from what even Pendlebury was having a chuckle at him one stage there on Friday, and I thought, you just know, your Gilchrist moment. But look, he'll want to plough on, and they're both contracted for next year, but they need to have a good sit down, and it's got to be by mutual.
What do you do with Amos, Brad? He surely has to go.
He's
back
just got to get more competitive, mate. It was the worst thing he ever did. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Longview were coming out and saying, he's getting bullied, and the umpires need. No, mate. You just got to roll your sleeves up and get your hands dirty. And look, there are players, and like Jai, they never what they call him never. Well, he's missing a lot now. You don't want to get into that rut, and you got to get out of it. And what you need to do is work and find a bit of your own ball. And get up the ground a little bit. Maybe do a little bit of field kicking, get a bit of confidence and a bit of rhythm. He's really, really stagnant in his run up. It's very stilted, and he's leaning back on his kick. So he's either, because he's leaning back and opening his hips, he's either pulling it across his body, tugging it to the right, or he's slicing it and it's going off to the left. And you've got to get on top of that, because his team's going to need him. Because when they don't score as much as Fremantle don't score, those half chances are going to be very, very vital going forward.
Okay, look at the top 8 as it is right now.
Yep.
You've got Melbourne to play today. If they win, and they go and replace Fremantle by half a game.
Yep.
Who is that top 8 set, or can Fremantle get in? Can Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs, Brisbane, or may I say Adelaide somehow get in?
We're still going to have a few more twists and turns, so I can see that. I mean, you lock in Sydney. Your boys now only need to win 4, I reckon, which is a good equation. They should be able to do that, Marty. You've got a really tough back end, but you should be in there and settled pretty much by that. Now, whether you finish 2nd or 8th, it doesn't matter for resident supporters, I think, because they're just about happy to be there. It looks as though Port Adelaide is going along nicely. The Giants and Geelong and Collingwood and Carlton have all got difficulties over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So it's going to shuffle up again and down, and and then Fremantle, Melbourne, and the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast are taking on Essendon next weekend. I think they might get your boys, at home. They might get them. So, because you haven't lost a game since round 3, I reckon. So, it's vital for Brisbane today, and it's vital for Adelaide today. And otherwise, if either of those two lose, I think it's curtain. So, you're really getting down to. There's a lot of teams that could finish anywhere between 7th and 12th.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And with Adelaide, they've just got to do everything right. I reckon they're one of the better teams outside of the 8, but aren't going to make it. I still think Brisbane are going to struggle to make it, even if they win today. And this game's a tricky game. Hawthorn have beaten Brisbane, I think, 3 or 4 in a row, and have been well backed. They've been $3.05 into $2.80. The money just keeps trickling in, and every time you look at Hawthorn, they've turned in half a point or 5 cents.
Particularly down in Tassie. This one's at Marvel under the lid, and I think Brisbane go all right there. But you're right, they can give them a shake. I mean, their form's been good, Hawthorn. There's no doubt about that, as you say. But I suppose, look, I think Melbourne I think they do away with St Kilda. St Kilda can't lock down Melbourne on the MCG. If they're at Marvel, they might have a chance, but not at the MCG. The ground's too big for them to cover. A few issues down there. I'm not sure that that young boy Phillip, who's going to be there next year.
Okay.
I think he's pretty keen to go back home. And of course, Adelaide and West Coast, as you say, that Adelaide game later in today for all the interest for the West Australian fans. We've got a very good day, a very good afternoon of football. I think the first game and probably the middle game we could bypass, and the third game I reckon we could like.
0427 789 571. Get those texts in. We're about to take a break. You're listening to The Aftermath.
On The Aftermath, you are listening to Marty Young and Brad Hardie on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Of the chase final, the red to green, Lewis in motion. They're set for a start. Sparks are about to fly. Racing, Al Benson was away cleanly. Barrio B showed speed. What a ripper. Then followed by a little bit twisted. Solid tank between runners. Sunset Nightjar working forward. Fancy That Fred was checked out to last with Kenya Kraken. What a ripper took over for Crudeli. Leads by 2 and little bit twisted. Then followed by Al Benson. Barrio Beach running on. But what a ripper. The young star wins it by 2 lengths on Al Benson. All a little bit twisted in a photo. Then followed by Barrio Beach.
There it is, the final of the chase at Greyhounds WA on Friday night. Jess Earnshaw calling the action. What a ripper wins. Graham Crudeli's here to talk about it. Very good morning, Graham.
Good morning, boys.
First 100 metres, very interesting of that race, the cut across from 7. We've been seeing a lot of these big feature wins. Gray's drawn wide, coming across. Doesn't seem to be any disadvantage.
Yeah, with this bloke here, like if he can get left alone the first 2 steps, he's got great acceleration, and especially going to that first corner to the second section where he's just got acceleration and he burns, and that's his main part of his race. So as long as he gets left alone, he's 37 kilos, he'd push through him, and once he got to the front, he's very hard to beat. I think he's only had 20 starts, and he's stepped up to the big boys, and he's handled it, and he's won 10 out of 20 now, and hopefully this keeps going.
Beautifully summarised, Graham, and congratulations, because he wasn't the quickest to begin, but he just had to negotiate past the 6, and the favourite jumped, it pinged the lid. So, as you say, that acceleration he's got is just remarkable.
Yeah, look, the map of the race, the 6 wants to go to the fence, and the 8 stays right out wide. So he did have a nice dream run to that first corner. He just needed to make sure he showed his best. He doesn't miss it, but he just steps and then he goes. And as long as he stepped with him, the acceleration of him is huge, and once he got through, and a little bit of luck as well, a couple of little dogs got checked, and he just got across. He chases so hard, and ran time. I think he ran a race record, so couldn't ask any more.
So he seems to be a Mandurah specialist. I think, what's his record, track and distance, looking at it now, 19:10, is that right?
Yeah, I think it's 19 or 20 starts and 10 wins. I think he's only been on place twice. He loves Mandurah. He loves that big long straight, and a few of my dogs don't like the track, but this bloke here, he just... I'm normally racing at Cannington, but this bloke here, because of his first 2 steps, he just gives him room to move at Mandurah, and he loves that big track, so he'll be staying there.
Well, can he be effective away from Mandurah?
There's not too many tracks, basically, in WA, so you got the northern tracks a bit tighter, so he won't run 500, so we've tried him before as a youngster, and he hits a brick wall after 400, so he'll just stay at the 400. Cannington, again, like he can't run the 500, and the 380, that corner start, the first 2 steps, just puts him out of the race, so he'll win a few, but he'll lose more than he'll win. So Mandurah will stay there. I think he's grade 1 there now. So there's another couple heats coming up in a few more weeks. So he'll be in next week and then just be getting set for that race.
Yeah, well, you answered it in part for us there, Graham, but he's beautifully named. There's no doubt about that. But when you've got a good one like this, is it easier to map out, a program going forward, do you think?
Yeah, like he was a good youngster, but he's just stepped up more as he was racing. The old boy did well naming him. It is actually a good name. It's a catchy name, so now we can set races and do what we need for him for the 400s and that. And basically, as a youngster, you just put him through and just see what you've got. He had ability, but that first few steps put him out of the race a couple of times. But now he knows what racing's about, and he knows how to get a little bit of a bump, and he knows how to push through and go around and not crash across. And he's done everything right. So. Yeah, happy with him.
What's the backstory with this fella? Did you breed him or did you buy him? What was the story?
We bred him with Matt Goodwin. We did a bit of a partnership with a bitch, Grace Under Fire. She was a sister to Equanimity, who won the Perth Cup for us a few years back. Mm-hmm. So Robbie Brankstone had that partnership with him, and we ended up getting the bitch and breeding with her. And we had halves in the litter, and we ended up with What a Ripper and I think Cherry Blue, and they've got a couple running around as well, which is not too bad, and it's worked out like that.
Yeah. Any others in the kennel that we should be looking to follow, Great?
Well, there's a few. Northern, Chris Cannington's closing down now, so I sort of changed the tracks and everything with the dogs and trying to work out. I went to Northern yesterday and did a full-on day yesterday. We trialled over 20 yesterday, and we started at 5 and got home after 2 in the afternoon, so it was a big day. Got a few, Busy Chrissy went all right at Northern, so got a few. I'm probably going to take about 10 to 15 up to Northern next Thursday night there. So it's changed the track, they're more new and that, so they've still got to learn. But they've had a look on Saturday morning, and I'd say Fizzy Chrissy, she went 22.20 the other day at Mandurah, and she got speed so she can get on the arm. And I'd say another one is Terra County over the 509. I'm going to step her up, and she's got that speed that she's been leading in the free falls over 380. So she'll be interesting over that 509.
Couple to follow there, but what about What a Ripper? Where's he go next?
He'll be in again next Friday. He'll be in the free-for-all, so he's pulled up fine and he's ready to go. So we'll just keep putting him around the Fridays. And like I said, I think the heats are on in a few weeks' time. There's another lot of heats on, so he'll just be getting, as long as everything's right, he'll be going in every Friday and then be getting ready for that race.
Beautifully done, Graham. Thanks for coming on the Aftermath. Slashing victory to a dog that we love the name of. What a Ripper. Well done.
No, thanks, guys.
There is Graham Crudeli there. And, you picked it, didn't you? On Friday we were talking, and you did say that Jess Earnshaw had whispered to you he thought a greyhound called What a Ripper had run well, and
yes,
he's all got the money again and left me out.